The Young and the Restless Spoilers. In a town where secrets never stay buried for long, the return of Daisy Carter promises nothing short of explosive drama in Genoa City. Daisy, the infamous daughter of the notorious Sheila Carter, has resurfaced after years of absence, and her comeback is set to send shockwaves through the lives of everyone she left behind, especially her estranged daughter, Lucy Romolotti. For years, Lucy had been living under the care of her father, Daniel Romolotti, and her late stepmother, Heather Stevens, believing the story she had been told, that Daisy was an unfit mother who had abandoned her. But the truth, as Lucy would soon discover, was far more complicated and sinister than she ever imagined. When Daisy appeared out of the blue, the encounter marked a turning point in both their lives, a meeting that would unravel a web of deceit, betrayal, and long-buried family secrets. The reunion between Daisy and Lucy was fraught with tension, confusion, and raw emotion. At first, Lucy was reluctant, guarded by the knowledge that Daisy had once been a dangerous and unstable figure. However, Daisy played her cards skillfully, manipulating the emotions of a vulnerable Lucy, who was still reeling from the recent death of Heather and struggling with her identity. Daisy told Lucy a version of the truth that was carefully constructed to win her sympathy. She painted herself as the victim, someone who had been wronged and misunderstood by the world, including Daniel and Heather. In her version, she claimed that her parental rights had been cruelly stripped away, and Lucy had been taken from her, robbed of the chance to know her real mother. It was a story designed to tug at Lucy's heartstrings, and it worked brilliantly. In a moment of desperation and confusion, Lucy, who had long craved answers about her biological mother, uttered the words Daisy had been waiting for: Mom. The word hung in the air, full of pain, longing, and perhaps a tinge of guilt. For Lucy, it was a declaration of a new, fractured reality. For Daisy, it was a victory. She had succeeded in worming her way into her daughter's heart, pulling her away from the people who had raised and loved her. However, what Lucy didn't know, what Daisy had deliberately kept hidden, was the full extent of her mother's history. Daisy was not the victim she pretended to be. In reality, she had voluntarily abandoned Lucy years ago, leaving her child behind without so much as a second thought. It wasn't Daniel or Heather who had taken Lucy from her. Daisy had walked away. Daisy's cruelty and instability were well documented. Her past was riddled with acts of violence, manipulation, and heartlessness. From kidnapping to arson, her list of crimes was long, and her redemption, if it even existed, was dubious at best. Yet here she was, standing in front of Lucy, rewriting history in her favor, and weaving a narrative that made her seem like... But for now, Lucy didn't know that. She didn't know that Daisy had manipulated her, that her newfound affection for her mother was built on lies. All she knew was that, for the first time, she had connected with the woman who gave birth to her. And that connection, however fragile or fraudulent, was enough to make Lucy question everything she had ever believed about her family. Lucy's betrayal. As Daisy pulled Lucy deeper into her web, the young girl's allegiance began to shift. Where she once trusted her father Daniel implicitly, Lucy now found herself siding with Daisy, drawn into the seductive power of a mother-daughter bond she had long been denied. Slowly but surely, Daisy's influence took hold, and Lucy's loyalty to her father, her family, and even her friends started to waver. The most devastating blow came when Lucy began to openly defy Daniel, something she had never done before. Daniel, who had always been a protective and loving father, was left stunned and heartbroken by his daughter's sudden change in behavior. He couldn't understand how Lucy could so easily fall under Daisy's spell, nor could he comprehend the depths of Daisy's manipulation. For Daniel, it felt like a nightmare unfolding in real time. His daughter, the child he had raised with care and devotion, was slipping away from him, drawn toward a woman who had caused so much pain in the past. The thought of Daisy having any influence over Lucy terrified him, and his anger began to build. He knew Daisy was dangerous, and the last thing he wanted was for his daughter to be caught in her toxic orbit. The impending storm. Daisy's return doesn't just affect Lucy and Daniel, it sends ripples throughout the entire Genoa City community. Many remember Daisy's previous reign of terror and are wary of what her return might mean. Some fear that she may be plotting something even more sinister, especially given her family's dark history. After all, Daisy is Sheila Carter's daughter, and that legacy alone is enough to make people uneasy. Speculation abounds about Daisy's true intentions. Is she back simply to reclaim her daughter? Or is there a darker, more calculated plan at play? Could the reappearance of her mother, Sheila Carter, be far behind? The mere mention of Sheila's name is enough to strike fear into the hearts of many, and if she does show up in Genoa City, the stakes will skyrocket. But for now, the focus remains on Daisy and Lucy. Their growing bond, built on falsehoods and manipulations, is a ticking time bomb waiting to explode. When the truth about Daisy's past finally comes to light, and it inevitably will, how will Lucy react? Will she be able to forgive her mother for her lies? Or will she turn on Daisy, realizing the depth of her betrayal? Daniel's dilemma. In the meantime, Daniel is left grappling with an impossible situation. How does he protect his daughter from a mother who is